Hi and welcome to the Tribes for Home Business podcast. We are your hosts, Steve and Sam Harradine.
Hi there.
And this episode is all about tips to grow engagement inside your Facebook group, to grow your tribe. So just to give you a little bit of a background on why we decided to cover this week, I was actually in a Facebook group, another Facebook group earlier today, and somebody had posted a comment in this group and they were basically debating the effect of Facebook groups. And the argument was, is it all about big numbers or is it about engagement? Because this person had said, look, I see these groups, they've got lots and lots of people in them, but the engagement's really, really poor. I would much rather have a smaller group with more engagement than a big group with zero engagement, which is absolutely true. I think we can both agree on that.
100%, yeah.
That's definitely, it's all about the engagement.
Debatable. People are still out there debating this because they are all about the numbers. They are all about grow as big as I can. I want 100,000 people in my group, but it's no good if people aren't engaging. And that's what the whole basis of today's podcast is.
I think that's the balance. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously we want to grow a sizable group. That's the whole point of doing what we're doing to a point. It has to have engagement. There has to be engagement in your group to make it effective. And what we're going to do today is we're going to share 3 tips to help you to get more engagement, to make sure you keep engagement within your Facebook group, because we know that that's one of the main things people say they struggle with is how do I get that engagement? How do I get people to come in and actually get out of their comfort zone just a little bit and start talking in the group and start, showing up and being an active member of the group.
I think I would go as far as to say this is probably the number one question we get.
It's
how
constantly
do we get
up there,
engagement?
isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this should be a really good episode if you're struggling.
Yeah. So 3 tips we're going to share with you, and I'm going to throw Sam right under the bus, and I'm going to give her tip number 1. I know you're passionate about this one. This is a big one.
Yeah, this absolutely is. And the number one thing you need to make sure when you're growing your group is that the content that you're actually putting inside your group is really relevant to your members. That's like a given. You have to be providing relevant content. It's no good bringing people into your group and promising them content on a certain subject, and then it's something completely different that you're posting about. For example, we're all about Facebook groups and growing your tribe. If I started throwing things in there about LinkedIn or Snapchat or any other thing that's not relevant to what we're doing, people would be confused and they would think, why am I here? And it wouldn't be something that they would be related to or that they could enjoy and comment on, because it's not why they're in our group. And the same should be for your group. Your content needs to be really relevant to what your group is all about. And that might mean taking a few steps back. That might mean looking at your group and thinking, okay, is my name attracting the right kind of people? Am I actually attracting the people I want? What about my cover image? Is that attracting the right type of people? And when you've nailed who it is exactly who you want, it makes content much easier to provide for your members because you know what they want, and then you just keep giving them more of it.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
I mean, I think it stems from being clear. It stems from, and this is something a lot of people struggle with a little bit. When we first meet new clients and we say, what's your Facebook group about? There's work to do usually with actually nailing the message down as to exactly who their group is for, what that group is going to be all about, and what benefits that group is going to deliver. So that when people come and they see your group for the first time, they can go like, boom, I get it. I understand exactly what that group is all about. Excuse me. I understand exactly what's going to happen if I go inside that group, and I either want it or I don't. I mean, that's really where we're trying to get people. It's getting them to that position where they can say, this is definitely for me, or this is definitely not for me. I'm not going to come in, because that's fine too. So as long as we're nice and clear on what we're going to give people, and then deliver relevant content, like Sam said, deliver that relevant content based around what we've said is going to be in that group, then that should definitely help people to engage.
Because it's what they're there for.
It's why they're there. Exactly.
They've clearly come into your world because they've been attracted by a certain promise or a certain topic that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So for them to come into your group and you provide them more content on that subject is like, they're going to engage. They might not straight away. You may need to draw them out a little bit. And we've had other podcasts that go over how to do that. But they are going to be the ones who are watching and consuming your content. So it's just about being so relevant and really, really crystal clear on your message and knowing what your audience want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which leads us on to tip number 2. And I'll be honest, I'm going to put my hand up here and I'm going to say that this is something that particularly early on, I struggled with a lot, right? And tip number 2 is putting content into your group that your audience members want, not necessarily what you want to teach or put in there,
what
right?
you think they want.
Let me explain the differences, because you might be thinking like, what? That makes no sense at all. So every audience has a temperature, okay? So our job as hosts of the group is to kind of take the temperature of that particular tribe of people, the group of people that we're building. And what I mean by that is, where along in the journey are they, right? So if they're really quite new to the entrepreneurial journey, the temperature is going to be kind of cool. It's going to be quite cold, right? They're going to not know a great deal of stuff, and we're going to have to give them stuff and content and sort of lessons in there that aren't going to overwhelm them. If it's people who are like really technical, if there are people who are really up on all the latest marketing techniques and how to build websites and how to build sales funnels and stuff like that, I would consider those to be kind of hotter. They're warmer. They're very savvy of the game. They're very understanding of how things work, how it all goes together. The temperature is going to be warmer. So if you are then going to go in and put stuff that's really technical in front of an audience that aren't ready for that yet, like that cooler audience who just aren't as far along in the journey, you're going to throw them. You're going to absolutely
Total
confuse
disconnect.
them. Yeah, exactly.
Real disconnect. And even if it's about the same subject, if it's like 10 steps on from where your audience are, complete disconnect, they'll never engage and they will actually fall away because they won't keep coming back. Because I think sometimes when I'm in groups like that, it can make you feel a bit stupid. It's like, should I not be understanding this? What's going on? And I think that disconnect in a group can be really harmful. So about taking your temperature, I love that analogy because it's so true.
It's just
getting to know where they're at.
It's getting a grasp on what do your group actually want to hear about? What are they comfortable? You know, what temperature are they comfortable with? Because if you're giving them stuff that's too far advanced, if you're giving them some really complicated stuff that they're going to have to really work hard to try and figure out, and it just feels like a ton of work, it feels like there's loads to do, there's a real learning curve, you're going to find people are going to disconnect and they're going to step back and say, that's not really why I'm in here. I came in here to get support and I came in here to learn a few things to just help me.
Social?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're getting me to work? How dare you?
Exactly that. It is exactly that. So if you haven't, even though it can be around the same subject, if you haven't tailored your message to suit the audience that you have, there can be a massive disconnect, right? You can really drive people away. And what they'll do is they'll go and find another group that's just talking their language.
Yeah.
So if you're going in there and talking, widgets and sprockets and phalanges and all this stuff, and all they want to know is, well, how do I just build my Facebook group?
Yeah.
I just want some simple tips. There's going to be a huge disconnect. And being a geek, I've always suffered with that. I always want to go in and just, give as much as I can.
You want to talk about the sprockets and the phalanges, don't you? Yeah.
They're all technical terms, by the way. But I do have to wind it in. I definitely have to wind it in because it's not always what our audience want. So, I know we're on kind of different pages often with that sort of stuff. I'll go away and I'll study, funnels and marketing and strategy and mindset, and you're more Facebook.
Absolutely. So, engagement and growing tribes.
There is a nice little crossover there.
Absolutely,
but we definitely know what people in our particular tribe prefer when it comes to training and teaching and putting content in. So for tip 2, all I would say is just make sure that your message and your content is resonating with your audience, and you're not going in and trying to baffle them with your knowledge and, trying to give them more than they can handle at any given time.
It's a huge one.
Yeah.
I think that enough people don't take notice of that tip. It's a
It's a tough one. It's a tough one to learn sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've learned the hard way, and you know what? We don't do it anymore. So, yeah. Tip 3. You want me to take this? Or
yeah,
do you
go
want
for
to
it.
Take this?
Yeah.
Keep it fun. We love to have a bit of fun in our group. Nobody comes to social media to be bored or to get bad news or just to. I don't know.
They come for 3 reasons. There are 3 reasons why people come to social media. 1, they want to be educated. 2, they want to be entertained. And 3, they want to network and build their audience.
Exactly. And we need to give that to them.
Yeah.
We absolutely need to give that to them in our Facebook group. And if they come along and it's boring, they're not getting what they're coming to social media for. So we always want to make sure, and something we love to do in our group is just have a bit of fun with our audience. And we do provide some really good training and some tips, but we make sure we have fun along the way.
Sometimes we can't help it, can we? We screw up.
We do screw up,
make mistakes. And then people just laugh at us.
Exactly. But do you know what?
That is us.
That's us. I think it's about being genuine, how you are. And we always say this to people, how we are on podcasts, on videos, on trainings. This is how we are in real life. We muck up. We say the wrong words. We have a giggle. And that, I think that needs to come across with your personality in the group. And if you are fun and if you do like to have a laugh, then that should come across in your group as well. If you're straight-laced and you don't like to have a giggle and that's not you, I would not advise you try and be somebody who you're not.
Yeah, if you're not,
be hard as
if
well.
you're not funny, don't try it to be
exactly.
funny.
Just be you.
Yeah.
But we can all have. It doesn't matter. I know the straightest people can still have a bit of fun because you still want to make sure that your group is fun and engaging. And we have some amazing clients who are just really doing amazing things in their groups with the fun element, and they're selling. They're still making sales in their group. They're building really good relationships, but they're having fun along the way. And I think when we can make anything fun, it's not work anymore, and people want to come along. And the groups that I've seen do this really well, people just want to be part of that tribe because it's a laugh.
Well, I always take this back to what we say about a Facebook group. It's like you are a party host. And that's the analogy we always use. And let's be honest, who wants to go to a boring party, right? Whenever you go, because don't forget, right, the purpose of your group, 99% of the time, is it's an oasis for people.
Definitely.
Okay, so you imagine the life of your average group member. They've probably got kids to deal with. Maybe they've got a job to deal with. They've got a spouse they've got to take care of. And it's very unusual that when you're trying to build a business as an entrepreneur, that everybody else gets what you're doing, right? Usually you're the misunderstood one. You're the person that, you're doing that thing that nobody really gets, nobody understands, and nobody really supports. So when a person like that finds their tribe, when they find the tribe of people that are there supporting them and helping them, and they get them, right? They understand exactly what's going on inside their mind, and they're all on the same journey. That becomes like an oasis online. So people come into that group and they can be themselves, right? They can talk to other people who don't think they're a little bit odd because they're trying to build a business, and they're not trying to discourage them. They're actually trying to encourage them. So it needs to become that place, that kind of safe haven, if you like, online, because sometimes that's all your members have got. That's 100%. The only place they can go where they can actually be themselves. So we want to make it fun. We want to make it an enjoyable place to be, because all that stuff is great, but if it's as boring as watching paint dry when you come in, they're still not going to want to come in, are they? They want to come in and sort of chill out with their friends and talk about the journey. Just talk about what they've got going on, maybe what they're struggling with a little bit, to get some help. Yeah. And just be around people that are of a like mind.
And I'm just going to say that works in any type of group. It doesn't have to just be a business-related group. In any type of group, you are creating that oasis. I'm members of groups from if you grew up in the 80s. And I love that group because people get me in there because they put all the throwback images. Older people or younger people wouldn't get it at all. But I love being in there. And from where we grew up, we're in that group, the E15 group, where everybody is on the same page. And it's fun to be in there.
Looking at all the old landmarks.
Exactly.
When we were kids,
everybody is in there for the same reason. And it's fun, and everyone's behind the same cause. Other people wouldn't get that because they didn't grow up in that area, or they didn't grow up in that era even. And it's the same with your group. If you've got a group of people, even if you're into makeup, and you love sharing your makeup tips and tutorials, there's going to be some people who are just not into makeup at all, and that's absolutely fine. There's going to be other people who love that sort of stuff and want to be part of your world. And other people in their family just probably wouldn't get them for that because they don't do that kind of stuff. So your group, it doesn't matter what it is, it's going to be that place for your members. And that's your job to create it. And it's our job to help you.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. It is exactly that.
Yeah.
So the more you can bear those 3 tips in mind when you are putting your group and your content together, the more engagement you are naturally going to get. So first of all, just to do a quick recap, first of all, tell people what they're going to get when they come to your group. Try to be as clear and specific with your group name and your group description as you possibly can. And if you are struggling a little bit on how to do that, this is exactly what we do for people. And you'll get a load of tricks and tips on how to do this inside of our free Facebook group, which is Tribes for Home Business. So if that's a little confusing to you, just make sure you're as clear as you can be so that when people come in, they're not surprised. They're not, this isn't what I thought it was, or they're not even guessing what your group is. They should know instantly what your group's all about. Secondly, make sure that the content you put into your group speaks to your audience. Don't get carried away like I often do and go in and start talking techno babble, or just, they're at step A and you're talking step Y. Try and keep it relevant to your audience and don't lose them with stuff. Exactly that. Talk to people about what they need to hear. Give people what they want to know about. Don't try and steer them off in some other direction that they're just not ready to go in just yet. And again, if you do that, you'll see your engagement go up. Speak to them on their level. Ask them questions about what they're doing. Don't just make it all about you. And then step number 3, just keep it fun. Just have a laugh. Just go in, we say keep it relevant. It doesn't all have to be business. It doesn't all have to be just work.
It's better if it isn't. Throw some of yourself in there, your personality, what you're doing. Take them on your journey. If you're going out on days out, post pictures.
Sure.
Your members love to see that. They love to see the other part of your life as well. So just take them on our personal profiles. We're very much about taking people on our journey, but we should be doing it in our group as well, because they're actually even closer to us.
Well, the group is where you get to show people a little more of yourself. Yeah. It's where you get to open the personality a little bit and let people see what you're really like. And honestly, your personality, you want to keep it fun, you want to keep it open, and you want to keep it friendly. Because if you do that, it's going to go a long, long way to building the know, like, and trust factor. And we kind of, again, I'll use an analogy. If we have a good friend, we generally know a bit about that friend, right? We know what they like, what they don't like, what foods they like, where they go on holiday. Maybe we know what car they drive. We know roughly
family,
where they live.
They've got,
We trust our friends, right? Because if we didn't, they probably wouldn't be our friends. So the more we get to know on that level, the more the trust level goes up. And that's really what we're trying to build. We're trying to get people to know us, like us, and trust us. So we do have to share a certain amount of ourselves with our tribe. And we're very open about where we live and what we do and, what we like and dislike. And we do that through our content by putting content out. And like last night, I'll timestamp this podcast for you. We spoke about flip-flops.
We did.
Yes. The Satan's footwear, the flip-flop. I don't think there's anybody in our tribe that now doesn't know how strongly I feel about flip-flops.
But we released a podcast last week. So
we did. That was in last week's podcast.
Hear the last week's podcast, you will hear all about Steve's hatred of flip-flops. And then we did a training in our Tribes for Home Business group last night. And this is how much he hates flip-flops. He brought up the subject again. I think we get it, Steve. I'm going to buy you some flip-flops for your birthday.
But you know what? And I'll digress just a little bit. This was actually on a different spa day, and people think we're addicted to spa days. But
we are.
One of the best posts that I actually really got tons and tons of engagement on a particular post. We were at a spa, and I did a post about flip-flops, right? And I just took a picture of my feet, and I was just raving about how much I hate flip-flops and how they're just like the worst thing for feet, and how the person who made them absolutely must hate feet and hate people generally. But the post got massive engagement because everyone came on and they had an opinion about flip-flops. But I was doing two things with that post. I was just telling people a bit about myself in a fun way, right? I wasn't like steaming, ranting and going crazy. I was just kind of expressing my disdain for flip-flops in a slightly humorous way. But B, I was also letting them know that, look, it's Tuesday afternoon and we're at a spa.
But I
wasn't bragging about that.
You never even said in that post that you were at a spa.
I didn't even say it was at a spa. It was just people could deduce from the post that we were at a spa. So I've kind of shared a lot of information and wrapped it up in a fun post by saying, flip-flops, I hate flip-flops and going crazy about them. But there was a lot of other information that people would glean from that post. And I'm kind of telling people where we are without being braggy and going, oh, you know what?
We're at a spa
We're not in an office.
Today.
We're out. We're doing this. Yeah. So by sharing posts like that, you're going to get a ton of engagement. You're going to let people know exactly what you do and don't like. And you're going to give them an insight into your lifestyle in a really kind of discreet way. in a way that doesn't make you come off like you're trying to be above them or bragging or, being that person. Nobody wants to be that person, right? Where they come in and they just go, oh, I'm doing this today. I'm not like you. I do this all the time. I'm wonderful. So, if you can get that information across in a way that makes you one of the gang and you can have some fun with it, those sorts of posts are going to get you a ton of engagement, and they're going to get people to know, like, and trust you even more. Because if you ask anyone in our tribe how I feel about flip-flops and spa dates, they'll know.
They'll know exactly.
They'll know exactly.
Do you know what? Wherever you're watching this from, please let me know. Do you like flip-flops? I literally wear flip-flops all through the year in the house. I've got some house flip-flops. I love them. I go out in the summer. I wear my flip-flops. Steve hates them with a passion.
And I have to listen to those flip-flops.
He hates the flip-flops.
Every day.
We are a divided household on flip-flops. So let us know. Are you pro flip-flops or hating flip-flops?
I need some votes for team hate flip-flop. Yeah.
Team love flip-flops. I'm here loving them. I know.
That little thing between your toes. No, can't do it. But guys, we hope that these tips have proven useful. We hope you've got some value from this. If you have, please, if you want more of this, come over to our free Facebook group, Tribes for Home Business. You'll find us on Facebook. Just pop it in the search bar and we will appear. That's really all we got for this particular episode. We really thank you for your time. It's always great to hang out with you guys. We really appreciate you coming on and supporting the podcast. That's pretty much all we got. So we will say
goodbye.
Goodbye. See you later. And we will catch you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.